Hey, it's Blake. I just want to talk about our education system for a minute. And, particularly, so I am become what is called a self-educator. So I all day long, right? I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm working on. Well, right now, I'm trying to decide which thing to do in terms of business. But anyway, I was actually, what got me started this idea for this video is I was reading looking up Bible verses, or doing research on a particular. Basically, I was trying to figure out what's the difference, like what's unique about the different Gospels, right? So what's in Luke that's not in the rest of them? What's in Matthew that's not in the rest of them? And on, and Mark and John. But mostly I was concentrating on Matthew because I was thinking about buying some Bible leaves, like from old Bibles, and I was thinking about which one to buy. But then I was looking at a website that somebody had compiled a list of ways or whatever that the different verses and parables and stuff that were in Luke or Matthew that weren't in the other ones, and then I looked at the URL, the thing at the top, the .com thing, and to see where it was. It was a .edu, but I didn't know what it stood for, so I looked it up. I took the thing out, copy-pasted, and then pasted it to another window, and it was like, it ended up being UC Berkeley. What's that other place? Starts with a B. California, Barber, what is it, Barber, what's the name of that place? Santa Barbara, I think. And so anyway, I was surprised they had this on there until I looked, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is what I thought, because they had other readings on there, something about the Book of Q. And this is the problem with colleges. Okay, sure, yeah, they claim, right, that okay, we teach you how to think, we teach you how to compare, whatever. But look, that Book of Q, what that was it was supposed to be like a lost book of like the lost gospel, right, or something like that. But really, these people, they would do well to spend that time reading the actual Gospels, and so anyway, I need to make sure I know where I'm going. But anyway, so the problem with these schools is they force you to they take your time, and then they tell you what you're going to do with it. They tell you what you're going to study. If we truly understood and had adequate value of our time, right? And I've traded my time for very low value. I've wasted a lot of time. I used to have a saying that I would say, and it was, I'm just killing time till I get to heaven. And I didn't understand that there's, rewards that we can get and things that we could do in this life that benefit us eternally. And it's really important not to waste any time. And also too, in business, I've realized that time is so important, because I've wasted time in hourly jobs where you trade time for money. But the thing about it is, that's what, and this might be offensive to some people, but that's what poor people do. Poor people trade their time for money. And maybe poor people is I guess I could use a better word for it, but I mean, it's just a low value system, right? So what you want to do, I'm using English words here, okay, so they are what they are. Rich people trade money for time, right? Because they understand that time is the one resource that you cannot get more of. I mean, yeah, sure, you can exercise, eat healthy, not waste time. I mean, sure, there's certain ways, but we all have 24 hours in a day, right? So it's not how many hours you have, it's how you use them. And so the problem, because this video is about the education system, is that they take your time and they tell you how you are going to spend it. And this is how jobs work. When you have a job, they tell you what you're going to do. You are working to make someone else rich. But college, I mean, right, it's a degree. And then you can say, okay, I went here, and I'm guilty too. I'm like, yeah, I went to UNG. I put it on my Facebook profile and everywhere I can, just because society still sees it. Even though I only went 2 years and did not get an associate's, society still sees that as, okay, this is someone who has, college experience, right? So it's just something that's society still sees as good. And it's not that it's bad. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, right? There's a lot of worse things than going to college. I mean, come on, hello. But if you can have, and if you do have the discipline, and I recommend getting a desk as a first approach. Get out of bed and get set on a desk. Make sure you have a comfortable chair. But spend time, whatever your free time is, educating yourself. And the great thing about it is and sometimes, for some people, the worst thing about it is you are in control, right? So, if you're just distracted by all the shiny objects that don't mean anything, and they're not going to help you get to your goal, right? Which is the reason why you need a plan in the first place, right? But no plan survives first contact with the enemy, right? So whatever your plan is not actually what's going to go down. But you need to have it in order to know kind of what to follow, where to go, but you need to be flexible while you're on that path. But anyway, traditional education is a forced, pre-written system. And now there is, structure, which is good for some people. And I would say that self-educating, you need to be able to create that structure and follow it, which, for some people could be a problem. But anyway, I need to make sure I don't miss my turn, so I'm going to finish this video later, and we'll holler at you. All right. No, I know where I'm turning. Never mind. Okay. So I'm good. Yeah, I know how to get there. I remember now. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. So anyway, but education, I just have a real problem with, and here's the thing, right? It's about awareness, right? Whenever I was going to college, I didn't know what I know now, right? I was like, okay, this is, I didn't have any thought about that wasn't, I didn't have any of these necessarily thoughts at the time. These all evolved, even though I don't believe in evolution. I just say that because it's an English word that's useful sometimes. What actually got me out of college was because I was pre-med. I had a 4.0, and I made like 1B in chemistry lab. It was like 12. This is second chemistry class, but yeah, and I was very upset about that. But what I was thinking about, okay, I was like, man, this is a lot of work. Is it worth it, right? Is this what I really want to do? Do I really, I started looking at the lifestyle of a doctor. Okay, well, what do? They show up early in the morning at the hospital. They stay late. They're on call to go to the hospital all day. So did I want that kind of lifestyle? Is that really what I wanted to do? And the answer was, it was enough of a no for me to stop, for me to take a break and kind of reevaluate. And at the time, I didn't know what to do. I said, well, let me go work in a pharmacy, just see if that's something, see if, how that goes. Because there was a guy that I looked up to who said he was going to be a cardio surgeon. I thought that was cool, and he worked in a pharmacy, so I kind of thought that was cool, and so I did that, and it was all right. The reason what got me was supposed to pay $15 an hour. That's what they told me. They were going to pay me $15 an hour. I ended up making $9.50 an hour, and I did it, and it was a hell of a job. I mean, it was because they got coming through the drive-through, and you coming walking up inside, you're dropping off prescriptions at both ends, right? And you got the phone ringing, you got you're calling doctors, you got your you're just trying to ring people up, and then people are asking you questions, and trying to find stuff in the store. And I mean, it was a total chaos factory. But the thing about it was that what I have gotten from that is that if you can do that job, if you can be a pharmacy technician, and accomplish that madness in that place, you can do anything. That's why. When I meet a pharmacy technician, I immediately know, okay, this person can cope. This person can deal. This is the kind of person that I want with me in a foxhole, or if I'm on a battlefield or something like that, because I know they can deal, they can handle, they can cope, they can multitask. They can get it done. But anyway, but yeah, there you go, $9.50 an hour, and I left CVS to go to Rite Aid for $1 more an hour, right? Because I was limited by my time. And anyway, but yeah, so I mean, there's just for anyone who has the awareness and the discipline to go ahead and do something else. And the thing about it is starting a business, there's a lot that goes into that, right? So physical, online. I know about online businesses, and we'll talk about that more, but and deciding what you want to do and sticking with something, because I'm someone who's I just found out I'm an INTJ, and apparently we are like masterminds. I know it's supposed to sound like, oh, it's something cool to say about myself, and I'm going to say it because it's like, oh, I like that about myself, and and it's true. I do like that because it's true, because that's how I am. I'm like the mastermind kind of thing, and so I'm always thinking, okay, well, I got this idea and that idea and everything else, and I get excited, but like I just sometimes have a little bit of trouble sticking with something. So anyway, you could maybe run into that, maybe not, maybe you're a type that picks one thing, but education system, get back to that. I mean, you follow a path, right? And you can change, and you can do this and that, but I mean, once you have your associates and you're on that you're working on your bachelor's, I mean, so let's just say you stick to that path, you get your bachelor's, you got your little piece of paper, which is, I'm not degrading it. I'm not trying to downgrade. I'm just saying you have a diploma, right? A degree. You could say I graduated, and you go and get a job, and you work for somebody else, and you make them rich, right? you know, or maybe you do all that and you start your own business and then you realize, well, I can't use any of the stuff I learned, or not a lot of it, you know, and I got to learn more stuff anyway. And that's the thing, you know, especially if you're going into like, you know, entrepreneurial, everything's changing so quick, technology's changing so quick, you know, and a lot of it is knowledge that you're going to have to get anyway, because like you're sitting there listening to a college professor who makes $40,000 a year or whatever, and you know, I don't know how much they make, but you know, and it's just like they don't know. So then when you graduate, either way, if you don't go or if you go, or if you drop out or whatever, quit going, you know, you're going to have to learn, I say, from somebody who's already done it, unless you're just someone who can just figure everything out. But I mean, we don't have time to make all the mistakes that there are to make. So it's best just to kind of see what everybody else is doing, the successful people are doing, and then do that, right? I mean, why not, right? Because if we have done, what's the saying? If we have done great things, it's because we stood on the shoulder of giants. I mean, right? I mean, how did society get to where it is, right? It was a, you know, it just didn't just boom pop out into, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, I don't do like New York City as a reference, but I mean, America wasn't built in a day, right? It took us, you know, hundreds of years, right, to get to where we are. But everything built on itself, right? So it's foolish to say, well, I'm just gonna, you know, start from scratch. I'm just gonna, you know, just start myself and just learn everything. And it's like, no. That's why, you know, we ought to be reading books a lot. We ought to be learning. We ought to be buying, you know, courses from people who are, you know, who know more than us, right? We ought to. I mean, why do we read books? Why do we read the Bible? Why do you read Proverbs to get wisdom? Because Solomon was the wisest man in the world, right? So anyway, I don't know. I could talk all day long, but I got to go to church. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you. Have a good day.